From the bottom, we out here getting it. Don't know what a limit is. Only surround yourself with people you plan to finish with. Consistency the key, unlock the door to your dreams. Prepare, plan, and execute, complete, and then repeat.
What up? Back with another episode of From the Bottom podcast. We got your host Fitz. We got Ty.
What it do?
We got Shalisha.
Good evening.
We got Tati. Well, let's get into it, Miss Good Evening. What's on your mind?
And nothing. Same old. Working towards this move. Really, that's pretty much been it. Life. Typical Friday.
Just life. What's a typical Friday look like for you?
Stressful.
Why stressful?
Because I got a lot to do on Fridays. Fridays is my busy day. Well, actually, every day is my busy day, but you know. How you been?
I've been good. I'm just chilling with Tati.
Hey, get it.
Just chilling with Tati. Just trying to make everything work in life, you know. Trying to make it all work. What about you, Ty?
We good, bro.
We good?
Living the dream, you feel me?
You got a do-rag on today. What's up? You putting the locks away?
Nah, just keeping them from standing up. I be looking like I got electrocuted sometimes.
That's how I be looking. That's good, everybody.
I keep it on most of the time, though. When I put a hoodie on, I want to go to sleep, so.
Okay.
You sleep in the hoodie?
No, I said when I put a hoodie on or when I go to sleep.
Oh. How you been, Tati?
She's been good.
You are not talking.
She's what fits. She good every day.
Girl, I be praying for you, okay?
These are facts.
If I may answer for myself, you'd be so kind. I've been all right. Just working, getting these subscribers up, just being a social media branding and marketing consultant, doing my job.
And killing it.
Sums it up. Yeah, we're doing pretty good over here as far as the numbers go. Finally hit 100 followers on our Instagram page, so we're looking good, guys. We're looking good.
Congratulations. Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was saying it to Tati, but you're welcome too. Thank you.
I mean, I got a role in that too.
Thanks all around, man. Yeah.
I know, but you wasn't the one talking about it. She was.
I thought whoever was putting the work in was included in it.
You both are doing a fantastic job, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
These are lies. What I want to know is, okay, what have y'all really been up to this week?
What you mean?
The people want to know, right? The people, they tune in and they want to see what we're up to during the week. We're leaving them breadcrumbs. What breadcrumbs did you leave someone this week?
Why don't you start it off?
Well, last podcast we was talking about what we were gonna accomplish and what we were going to do differently.
Okay, there we go.
Accountable. I finished my schedule. I've been sticking to it. I am exhausted. I don't want to stick to it, but
how many days did you stick to it?
What day did I send you my schedule? From the day I sent it to you until today? I think that was Monday I got that done, right?
I don't know.
It was like Monday or Tuesday. You do know.
No, I really don't know the day. Like, I just know I got it. I didn't mark it down.
You were horrible at holding people accountable.
No, I just know.
It was Monday.
Not do it.
Monday I finished it. So from Monday to today. Exhausted.
How's it feel?
At the end of the day, it feels good before I knock out and go to bed. It's like, okay, you did it. That's just showing that you can do it.
So for the people maybe that are just tuning in for the first time, what did you actually set out to accomplish? Like what?
Coming up with an actual schedule to work with the hecticness of my life and being able to stick to it.
And how do you know that schedule is working?
Because I feel like my life, like this week has ran a lot more smoothly versus hectic. I feel a little bit more organized. Now I just got to work on being tired.
You have to work on being tired.
Yeah, well, not being tired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because now that's the only thing. I just be like, I feel dead sometimes, but I still keep going.
All right. Well, I think it's good. I think it's positive that you were able to stick to that.
Thank you.
Ty,
Huh?
what's up with the job?
Shit, bro. Today was my last day. I put my 2 weekend on Sunday. Was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. They ain't open the email till Tuesday. So
Today's
they
your
had the
last day.
specials.
How's today your last day if you put your 2 weeks in on Sunday?
I gave them my notice. I didn't say how long it was gonna be.
That's not a 2-week notice
Give them a
then.
2-week notice.
Who said I had to put a 2 week notice in? That's a courtesy.
Oh, I thought you said you put your 2-week notice in today.
I thought you said
I
that.
put a 1 week notice in.
So your last day will be next week.
No, my last day was today.
So you put it in last week.
I finished out, yeah, technically last week.
Okay,
Sunday.
so you say a week, you're talking about the work week.
Yeah, I'm talking about the work week. I'm not talking about nah. They didn't open it till Tuesday.
What'd they say?
Nothing. They just my general manager said that she was happy that I was moving on and that she was grateful that I was there. That she'll miss me. Everybody will miss me.
Did you cry?
So
Lies.
I went out on top today, bro. I went out the way I wanted to go out because I started to get burnt out a little bit with all the people and stuff. The management is just not top notch as it should be. So instead of like acting a fool and turning up and stuff, I just did it in a more professional way. Decided to walk away and transition over because I felt like it was time. Today was super busy. We had probably over 100 dogs, and I made sure everything was straight. I handled it the way I need to handle it. People were late, but that didn't make a difference. So I kind of went out the way I wanted to go out on top. Seen all the dogs and stuff. I didn't get it sad because I already felt like I did what I needed to do. I cherished every moment, every day. So yeah, we good.
Look back at a few dogs before you left a few times.
I got like so many pictures on my phone, bro. Like probably at least almost 1,000 photos of dogs. Because we had to take pictures of them for our jobs. We have a social media page. So I got training videos, I got weird pictures of dogs, pool dogs, like all the above. So it was bittersweet, but it's time. I already feel the transition. So they hired more people, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really like sacrifice my moral compass and be like, oh, they're gonna be hurting. I wasn't worried about that. I was more worried about doing what I need to do. I left my mark and I'm moving out. So, yeah.
And I do want to say for all those people that, well, I guess Ty really hasn't showed an interest in coaching, but they say people that are good with animals are usually good with people. And he just be sending me random videos where he got the dog in the swimming pool swimming. This dog ain't learned English. It don't know how to write in cursive. It don't know none of that stuff. And he got the dog up in there swimming, playing with the toys and stuff. So, maybe later down the line, Ty may look into coaching, but definitely powerful stuff because it takes a lot to work with people. It takes, I think, even like a different level to work with animals. And it just goes to show you, like, even though they don't know like English and stuff like that, you can still communicate with them. And I think a lot in our lives, that's where these problems come from, is from like a breakdown of communication. So to see you working with animals and stuff like that, where you would assume it'd be more difficult to communicate, is like eye-opening because I'm seeing the dogs and you're like telling them, go get this and do this, and they're listening. And so I'm like, wow, I wonder like what that means in terms of how humans communicate and why there's so much turmoil between people. I don't know. I just thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to work with dogs, but it's also difficult because if you're not a patient person, um, you don't understand the behaviors of a dog. You don't pay attention to them. The biggest thing is about paying attention to them, their needs, their wants. They'll tell you what they want. They may not say, "Hey, yo, Ty, I need a ball." You know what I'm saying? But you'll hear certain barks and certain levels of barks to know, like, "Hey, I need to go out to the bathroom. Hey, I'm hungry. Hey, I want to go to sleep." Like some dogs will throw temper tantrum just like a kid when they're tired and they want to go to sleep. Or some dogs will, like, we have bells at my job, so some dogs will hit the bells on the door saying, "Hey, we need to go outside." So it's challenging, but you gotta humble yourself. You can't just go in and say, "Do this and do that, do that." It's a partnership, so you really gotta. They have their own personality. I don't know if y'all think that, but a lot of people don't think dogs have personality, and they do. So you really gotta adjust and adapt just like as you would a person or a kid in therapy or at school, whatever type of interaction you have to get down on their level.
I got a funny story, and then we'll get on to Tatiana's her accountability thing and then mine. But I was in college in a class one time, and there was some dude. He was like a dog lover, like Ty, and we were talking about emotions. We were in a psychology class. We were talking about emotions, and the teacher was like saying, the difference between humans and other animals is we have emotions. And then this dude was like, well, dogs have emotions. Like I see my dog smile sometimes. And the teacher was like, nah, dogs don't have emotions in the way that I'm talking about. They don't have emotions. And him and this teacher went back and forth. And it was the end of the semester. Like it was a few months later, we had an exam. And on the exam, the last question on there was, do dogs have emotions? Yes or no? she was like, she was petty, like, and he was like my roommate across from me, and I was like, she put that on there for you. I was like, did you mark a no or yes? He was like, I put they have emotions just to mess with her. I was like, bro, that's a new level of petty where you center a whole exam question around an argument you had with the student.
Some people they won't admit that they're wrong. It's true though. Dogs do smile, bro. I'll send you a video after we're done with the podcast. There's this dog. I think he's a French bulldog, and sometimes when they're bored, we give them individual like cuddle time. Their parents pay for it, so he gets about 15, 20 minutes, and we're just chilling, and I'm just scratching him. He's just smiling. He's just smiling the whole time. So they have emotions, man. Because you got non-social dogs that been beaten, that been trained wrong, um, neglected, and it's hard for them to trust people. And so those people that they do trust, you have to work with them just like a regular person. So they do have emotions. It may not be to the extent of people because they don't have to think like us. Like, hey, let me smell you. All right, you smell good, cool. You don't, hey, leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? We can learn a lot from animals, bro.
All right, Todd. Let's see what you got. I know what was your goal for the week?
My goal for the week was to wake up on time every day. So I did accomplish this goal. I did wake up every day prior to 8 a.m. So that was accomplished. And I believe only 3 out of the 5 days I was at my desk at the time I was supposed to be starting work. So today and I want to say Tuesday were the 2 days where I was not working by 8:15, which is when I start working. But the other 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I was at my desk working by 8:15.
Awesome.
On my way, not perfect, but
Round of applause.
But it's progress. Definitely. You should be proud of those 3 days that you were able to get up and start working when you wanted to.
Yeah.
Hey, don't y'all find it weird? Like when you plan to get up early, you don't get up early, but when you don't plan to get up early, you get up early. Does that ever happen to y'all?
No.
I mean, so with me, I know what you're saying, because when I don't plan on getting up early, like it's weird because I usually don't even use an alarm clock. Like I can tell myself I want to get up at a certain time, and then I'll just get up like 5 minutes before that time. And I mean, I was expecting Tati to jump in and hype it up, like, yep, I seen it. But that that's usually like my alarm clock rarely goes off because I just get up right before I set it. But I do know what you're talking about, where you just randomly get up all early and stuff like that.
I wish I had the luxury of an option.
What do you mean?
I always wake up at 5, but now it's a matter if I'm gonna go back to sleep or not. That's my issue. But every day, 5 o'clock, my body just wakes up.
If you're already up, why is it an issue?
Because I get tired and I want to be going back to sleep. I used to be able to sleep until 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Why?
I used to be able to.
When?
Now, all the time. Boy,
what year?
When I was in high school.
Bro, that was how long ago?
It don't matter. I'm not that old now.
Everybody used to.
You old, bro.
At some
I'm
point.
Not that old. But no, for real.
Yeah, I feel like that was like 2 weeks ago or something.
No, it's been some years. It's been some years.
Yeah,
no, I'm up.
A whole lot of
And
years.
sometimes like I can't even go straight back to sleep. Like I have to do stuff like and tire myself out and then go back to sleep.
She's still reminiscing.
All right. Like I used to be able to hold the binder in the hallway. Like what?
I mean, sleeping till 12 some days, those are the life.
That's too much.
Do that.
That's
I
too
can't
much sleep.
Yeah, I can't. Even if I felt like if I were to fall asleep at like 2 a.m, I still couldn't sleep until 12.
Me too. Not no more. I still be up at 5 o'clock.
Mm.
And like we didn't just go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't make no sense.
You said you'd be up at 5 and then you fall back asleep?
Sometimes. Not no more because we're sticking to the schedule, but
we need a larger data set. You can't say not no more. You gotta wait a few
not
weeks.
Since Monday.
That's the same thing Tati do. She'll be like, she'll do something for one day and be like, I'm changed.
It's been the 7 days. Well, 5 technically.
I don't recall.
She made it one day, bro. That's all that matters.
You gotta take it one day at a time, and if you need to, 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time, whatever works for
I'm
you.
with it.
I don't know who touched
No,
that.
you're not, because you just
No, I'm with it.
You're not with it.
I'm with it. I'm just saying, I don't think this. I think you gotta win this the required amount of games in order to say you won the playoffs. That's my thing.
What's the required amount of games?
In basketball, it's
We're not talking about basketball. We're talking about life.
In life, I think that it's habits. Like if you haven't done something enough to make it a habit, I don't think that you should say that you do this. Like that's my opinion. If it's not a habit, I think that by saying that you do this now, it's almost like you're putting yourself in the comfort zone. Like I've already mastered that. Where I think, whereas if it was just like if there was context where it's like I'm making progress towards this goal or whatever, that's a little different. But I'm big on self-talk. Like if you say stuff out loud and your brain hears it, it's going to interpret it a certain way. So, and this is not to pick on Tatiana. This is like just in general, if let's say that, you wake up at 5 every day, but then you fall asleep, 6 of the 7 days that you get up. And then on that 7th day, you're like, nope, I wake up at 5 and I stay up. It's like, do you, or did you just do it today? That's my thing.
I get it.
I just want to clarify because it seems like I'm a bully sometimes.
No, you a bully.
I am?
You're just soft.
Yeah, you a
You're
bully
soft.
sometimes.
You're just sensitive.
Well, that gets me into one of, I guess this is like a critical thinking question. I heard the other day when I was going through my coaching program, the instructor was saying that there's no such thing as a bad intention. That is how we view it. And that the minute we assume that someone has a bad intention, that's when we've actually like caused a problem. So what do y'all think? Do you guys think that someone can have a bad intention?
Shalisha, go ahead.
I do. I feel like people can have bad intentions.
How do you know that they had a bad intention?
Well, if you're doing something spitefully and you're not trying to be a decent person, I feel like you're doing it with bad intentions. Some people are just spiteful and do things just to hurt other people.
I got a question for you. How do you know that their definition of a decent person and your definition is the same? What if theirs is lower than yours?
And just because your definition is different, I mean, I feel like there's a common basis for right and wrong.
But their
You're
right and
doing
wrong might not
something-
be the same though.
If you run a red light, was you right or wrong?
Depends on who you ask.
I ran a red light the other day.
Wrong.
There was no cars coming in. We were there for like 3 minutes. It was one of those lights where, you know, it doesn't change, and sometimes it can go through like 2 or 3 cycles before it changes. But there was no cars coming on the left and no cars coming on the right. And, you know, I was just like, let me go. But I don't think that's a question of right or wrong.
But I mean, if a cop would have seen you, you still would have got a ticket for running a red light, no matter what your excuse is.
Not here. I think in Texas, if you're at a light or whatever, and it's like a one-way or something, they have a different law. But even if there was a cop there, I don't think it would have been a question of right or wrong. I think it would have been a question of legal and illegal, because in some places they don't even have stoplights. You know, they don't have stop signs. They don't have traffic laws like we have. So is something intrinsically right or wrong? I think that's what Ty is saying, is like with the perfect example with the red light. Some places they don't have red lights. Does that mean that that person was wrong because they went? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you define right and wrong based on a red light? What if somebody was, you know, in an emergency and had to get to a hospital? They're just supposed to sit at that red light and let somebody bleed out or something because they wanted to be right?
It's not about that though.
What's it about?
You're not supposed to run a red light. Red means stop.
So if you got somebody in your car dying, you would stay at that red light if there was no cars coming and you could safely go through that stop sign or that traffic light.
No, I'd run the red light, but I was still running the red light. That's why it's called running the red light. Doesn't matter what my reasoning for it is. I still ran the red light.
Is that wrong
though?
I have something to
For
add.
running the red light, yes. For saving somebody's life, no.
If it's an emergency situation and say a police officer did get involved at that point, once they realize that it was an emergency situation, like, oh, you're trying to get to a hospital because your wife's about to give birth, or oh, your grandmother's in the back and she's bleeding to death, you know, something like that, then they wouldn't give you a ticket at that point. They're not supposed to. I mean, if they're still
right. But we're talking about a general red light.
So
like Robert did the other day.
Because when you say if you run a red light, yeah, if you're just talking about one red light or whatever, but when you fail to add like the complexities or the context of a situation, which I think that's what Ty is getting at, is if you just say this person is wrong because of this, but you don't include any of the context as to maybe why they're being spiteful, then yeah, it makes it look like they're just this horrible person that has it out to get you, but what's the context behind it? And I think that's what he's saying, is like, you can always find context behind something to justify maybe why somebody did something.
And perspective.
Yeah. Did I have it right, Ty? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, you had it right. I think we're too quick to like cut people's heads off when it comes to things like that. And we don't take a step back and think, okay, what's their perspective? Am I perceiving it wrong? Or are they like, what is their perspective as well? Did they intentionally mean to do this? Or, you know, what's their level of decency? Like, I think there's a lot of things that go into certain situations, but we're so quick to be like, they're a POS, when in reality, like, it takes two people to tango.
Yeah. You know, like, I feel like even with like used car salesmen, people are like, oh, they have bad intentions. They just want to sell me a crappy car. but then at the same time, they have to do that in order to feed their family. You know what I mean? So is it on the car salesman to be informed on the cars and tell you everything, or is it on the person going in to buy the car? Does that make you a bad person because you didn't know about cars? I don't know. Does it make the car salesman a bad person because they're telling you should get it? I don't know. I'll have to send you guys a video of the way he was describing it. I watched it a few months ago, but it just popped up in my mind. But I think it seems like Shalisha feels very strongly about this, like this right or wrong thing. Do you see it that way? Do you see something as just like
I didn't even say nothing. I'm
so
just observing.
when you were saying stuff, you were like, something is right or something is wrong. Do you see things in black and white in that way?
No, I don't, but I'm not about to make excuses for somebody who's literally just out there being a piece of POS. I got it. Some people are just horrible. Some people do things with wrong intentions. It doesn't.
Example.
Yeah,
like some people are just. I personally don't have any examples, but some people do just be out here doing wrong stuff just to do it.
What's something maybe not something you've experienced, but just the craziest thing you could think of? What would that mean? Somebody has a bad intention. If I say that to you, like, oh, that person has a bad intention, what would you think? What would that mean?
That they're going into a situation or taking a situation that doesn't need to be, I guess, on that level into that level.
What level?
Any level, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. Like some people are just out here doing horrible stuff just to do it. But just because they're out there doing horrible stuff just to do it, are you going to sit there every time somebody does something that you deem is wrong and analyze it and sit there and be like, well, maybe they did it because of this, or maybe they did it because of that? Yes, it takes two people to tango, but it doesn't necessarily mean that y'all both trying to do the same tango.
That's why I challenge you though, because that's not a way to grow as a person. If you're just gonna be like, they're just messed up. Like I'm gonna sit back and think, okay, what's my position? What did I do? Because we all do something to somebody for them to act a certain way. So you might have triggered somebody and their intentions may have been good, but now they're quote unquote bad to you because they're reacting off of what you did or vice versa. So you got, like, for me, I just think about it's just about perspective for me, because it can kill a lot of the situations that we put ourselves in with people, because we create the situations for ourselves. Like we make it way worse than what it really seems, just because we do not step back and think about perspective. We just automatically jump to bad habits, and that's what then you get into the bad intentions and stuff.
I agree with what you're saying, but I still believe that people do spiteful things just out of spite.
Is spite bad intentions though? Does that mean bad intentions?
Yes, I feel so.
Tell me if this is an example.
Okay.
A man and a woman were in a relationship.
Ooh.
Stupid boy.
Because I've heard this story before. And actually, I think this was on the movie Barbershop with Ice Cube. Yeah. And in the movie, in one of the earlier scenes, there's some guy across the street with his car. The car happened to be identical to this one chick's boyfriend who broke up with or thought he was cheating. And she ended up going to the car and busting up all the windows and tearing the car up with a bat. Mm-hmm. Or something she used. I think it was a crowbar or something. I don't remember exactly, but she beat the car with this thing. And so her intention was to damage the boyfriend's car, yes. I believe under suspicion of cheating. Mm-hmm. Is that bad intention? I mean, because I don't think damaging the vehicle is going to ultimately fix the relationship issues. So I don't know why else you would do that besides to hurt somebody, because you know that this is their vehicle and this is their means of transportation. And if you, flatten their tires and bust out their windows, they can't really drive the car. So I don't know, is that bad intentions?
Shalisha?
Oh, this is the question for me?
Oh, I
Well,
didn't
I thought it
know.
was a general question. I didn't know it was directed at me
It's for all
specifically.
of us. I was just I just want to hear
Like,
you.
But I feel like, yeah, like your feelings got hurt. So now you want to go bash somebody's whole car. They didn't bash your car. You are suspecting they're cheating without even having facts. And now you're taking it to a whole nother level, trying to destroy somebody's car that they worked hard for and earned.
And it turned out to not even be the boyfriend's car. It was like
exactly. Now you just bash somebody's car who had nothing to do with it. Like, you need to get your feelings and anger.
Was she busting that car? Was she busting that car to relieve some type of stress or pressure within herself?
Oh, she better go to therapy. Anybody got time for that? Anybody got time for
See,
you?
that's a perspective. Maybe where she grew up from, that's a normal part. That's how people.
But does it, just because that's what you're exposed to, does it still make it okay that you did that?
But some people don't make it out of their environment mentally, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it makes it okay.
But that's the person whose car fault it is, because you didn't mentally make it out of that environment. And now my car is busted.
But here's a different perspective, though. In some countries, like Middle Eastern countries or whatever, if me and a girl are dating or we're married and I cheat on that girl or I do something to that girl, the family, like the men in that family, they can come pretty much like beat me up and kill me, and they will not get in trouble from the law. They will not get in that. Like, that's just what they do there. If you took that same person and their family and brought them to America, and Ty over here elk hunting did something, and they came for Ty, they would probably go to prison for that same thing. So in one environment, it's okay and it's right because that's what they're used to and that their laws allow that. But in a different environment, it's not okay. So is it not okay because it's not okay, or is it just because it's illegal, or that's not the proper way to handle things?
No, this is very simple. There is no proper way to handle anything. Everything that we have ever with has been born from the mind of a human being, and it's completely subjective and based on the context of that human being and their perspective. It's all about power. Who holds the power? Who wrote the laws? So it has nothing to do with anything objective. It's simply people who could gain power in some way, shape, or form and said, this is how we want things to be. This is what we want to allow and disallow. So no, there is no true definition of right and wrong. It's in that example. I mean, I'm talking about in the context of Chicago in the 1990s, early 2000s, whenever that movie was shot. So, I mean, yeah, in that context, that is something that's upsetting. That's something where, if he wanted to take this chick to civil court to sue her for the damages to his vehicle, he could and he would win. So in that context, yes. In the context of the Middle Eastern country, well, that's a little interesting too, because the woman did the damage. And I think it's a woman, and during that time period in the 90s, laws are different now. Things are changing over there. But I believe during that time period, I don't know what would have happened to her, especially with that man being completely uninvolved in it. She may have been stoned. I don't know what we're talking about over there, because they all different. So we was sober. Western Asia, and there's a whole lot going on over there, and it's really the whole world. It could have been China, Mongolia, I don't know, Indonesia, New Zealand. We can go to Australia with it. I don't know what's happening in Canada. Come on, Brazil, Argentina, or Uruguay. She
sounds like she finna sell some stuff. What's your price?
Okay, we
know $50. I got 55, 60, 70, 75, 75.
Yeah, she need to be out here at auctions, placing.
It's all about perspective, man.
Yeah,
because with that specific scenario, that girl could have just sat back and chilled. She ain't have to let herself get out of character and go smash up somebody's car. Yeah, now she don't put herself in a situation.
And I'm not saying it was smart. I'm just saying I think this fictional person did it for a reason. Like, I don't think that they just woke up one day and they were like, here's this random person that I don't know, and I'm just going to go smash up their car. I think that it started somewhere and it got complex, maybe to where they couldn't handle it.
But action gets a reaction.
Yeah. Every action gets a reaction. And there's some people that were probably clapping on the side like, yeah, get them, you never know. Some people just look at it differently.
I mean, I saw the movie. Everyone in the movie was like, ooh, oh, dang. Oh, that's a situation. Hey, man, come look at this. Oh, They was all bystanding and no one was trying to help this dude. And the dude who owned the car was just like, oh, Oh, what you doing? Who are you? Why you doing this to me?
Would he have been wrong if he would have popped the trunk on him and shot up the whole entire barbershop?
Oh, she didn't come up. Did she come out the barbershop? I don't remember where she came from.
Yeah,
I thought she pulled up
the salon, whatever she did.
In her own car.
But all them people laughing though. All them people laughing. Would it have been wrong for him to light up that barbershop?
I mean,
it's definitely like a kid who's getting bullied at school, like, and then they turn around and become a mass shooter. I think there's been like how many? Where are we at? 10,000 mass shootings this week. It's at some crazy number in a week. I don't know.
Well, those things are crazy because they classify like a mass shooting. The way they classify it, it really isn't the way most people think of a mass shooting. Like if there's more than a certain amount of people, like if we're at a party and somebody just tries to shoot at somebody, they would consider that a mass shooting.
Oh, really? A single person?
Yeah, they classify it based on how many people are in the area.
Oh, not how many people died.
Yeah, or not. Did I have the intention of doing something to multiple people?
Talking about a mass shooting in the context we all understand a mass shooting to be, where multiple people are shot and killed in an area where, of course, there's multiple people to be shot and killed. Let's say, say a child who's at school, middle school maybe, and they're being bullied and they get a hold of their parents or whoever's artillery weaponry and take it to the school and shoot and leave the people they was cool with. Let's say that
where are we going with this?
Well, I was just responding to what Kyrie was saying, like
No, I was asking if it would have been right or wrong. That's it.
Right. Would it have been right for her to shoot up that barbershop?
I don't think it would have been right. I think that we can still agree there's decency. I just think that there's context.
So, but see that your definition of decency is subjective.
Well, no, when I say decency, what I'm saying is that I'm trying to say it, but you keep interrupting. Okay. When I say decency, what I mean is, does it need to escalate to that point to where now you're killing somebody over a car?
That makes sense. You need to escalate to the dude getting his car bashed.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's right or wrong, but I think
level are we stopping at here?
I'm trying to break it down. I think decency and right and wrong are separate things. I think that right and wrong, you can be right about something, but you can be like an a-hole about it. If somebody's staring, if somebody, like say somebody takes something from me or whatever, and I have the legal right to do something to them, but I don't need to do it to them, then maybe I'm not a decent person. Even though, there's been cases where people have thought their lives were in danger and they end up killing somebody. They were technically right, but were they decent people? Did they need to do that? I can walk up to somebody and call them a name. Does that mean that was decent of me? Even if I'm not going to get in trouble for it? That's what I'm talking about, like common decency where you can respect people. But I think that if you leave the context out of a situation and you just say, oh, Robert walked up and cussed at that person, but you don't know that that person did something to me prior, then it may just look like I'm the bad person. That's all I'm saying is if you leave the context out. I'm not saying that you should always escalate something to the umpteenth level and be shooting up schools and killing people and stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a justice system in this country that decides what's right and what's wrong in the eyes of the law.
And it's all subjective.
It's subjective, but the jail time is objective. So I think
but the jail time was decided by somebody who subjectively decided that should be the jail time, like the jail time for being caught in possession of a small amount of cannabis in certain states where it's legal. Subjective.
I was gonna spend that fire.
I mean,
the decency of a human being for calling somebody a name regardless of the context, subjective.
Hey, I love y'all, bro.
Hey, two different things.
Subjective.
If I go call somebody a name, I'm not gonna get jail time. If
I need a whole show, bro.
If I go commit a crime, that is not subjective as far as
he ain't gonna let it go.
I'm just saying there are actually things there are actually things that have consequences that I don't think are subjective. When the judge says you getting 100 years and you go into prison for life, and that's not subjective.
For being accused of stealing $70 worth of ice cream that you
That's not subjective though. That's objective. You really going to prison. If it's subjective, then leave. Then walk out the prison.
I got a question.
Ask me the question.
Was your intentions good or bad when you kicked out the door?
Hey, I did not have any bad intentions. I just wanted to get it across that I'm a human being and I will not be disrespected.
Well, I thought you wasn't there.
Hey, bro, that piece of wood almost hit me in the face. Oh, Lord.
Hey, this is just a perspective. I wanted to see what everybody thought. I'm glad we were able to have a decent conversation about it. Things got a little carried away, but we back on we back on track. I know Shalisha's been sitting there quiet for a minute, so I'm gonna open this question up to her.
You keep going after Shalisha.
I'm not going.
I'm saying, like,
every question is like you first.
I'm asking her.
Right.
Okay.
Ladies first, women first.
I'm just asking an opinion. I don't see how that's going after somebody.
Respect.
Okay. The question that I want to open up to you guys is, how can you be more valuable?
Shalisha.
How can you be, and what I mean by more valuable is when you look at the skill sets that you have, when you look at the talents you have, or, you know, like maybe the ability to adapt or whatever it is, how can you use that to be a more valuable person, not only for yourself, but for other people?
I feel like I'm pretty valuable as is. So if I keep going on the track that I'm going, then we'll be fine.
What does that mean? No, what in the...
I put my all into everything that I do. I don't just be out here half-assing shit. So everything that I do comes with value.
Again.
You started it.
How did I?
Hey, bro, we ain't never gonna make a bag. We ain't never
doing
gonna make a bag. What you mean he's doing it? She her own person. She can control that.
Right. I'm not trying to offend nobody. All I'm saying is, how can you take those skills and be more valuable?
I'm offended. I answered your question. You just didn't like the curse word at the end. I apologize.
So you think that you're as valuable as you can be?
Yeah, I give everything when I put my all into everything that I do, pretty much. So.
Okay. What about you, Ty?
Repeat the question, please.
How can you be more valuable?
Like in general, or just as like a personal level?
It could be in general or just on a personal level. You know, like if you're, let's say, like you're working with dogs or whatever, and you want to say, okay, how can I be more valuable? How can I be more valuable to people? I noticed some things when I was working with some dogs, or, you know, like I was at this job and I noticed they treated me like this. How can I go out there and be more valuable? Maybe if I start a business and I hire people, how can I be more valuable to them than, you know, the situation I was in? Or how can I
guess for that specific example, or maybe just in general, standing behind your word. So making sure you stand for something, making sure your word is bond. And I think being prepared and knowledgeable of what you put out into the world is how I bring value, because I can't have somebody come to me with their puppy and expect me to train them, and I don't know how to train a puppy. I don't know how to crate train. I don't know how to feed. I don't know how to do a routine, a schedule, a structure, any of that stuff. So for me, it's about being prepared at all times, no matter what, knowing your stuff. And there's some things you might not know, but being humble enough to admit, hey, let me go back and research this real quick so I can get more information. And then just executing, really. That's to me, that's the key for me.
What about you, Tati?
Repeat the question.
How can you be more valuable to people?
That's for me to know. And for, on an individual basis, for people to find out, determined by how I feel in my relationship with that person.
Well, there you have it, people.
Tatiana the Great.
Right? Like this question is mainly, you know, like if you really do some thinking about it, it's mainly to challenge you to look at what you're already doing and figure out how to do better, or how to, you know, refine something. Like, you know, how are you being valuable to people? Like, do you make an intention to be valuable to people? You know, like when you wake up, what were your intentions? You know, like, were you like, this is how I can be valuable to someone today. I have this skill. You know, I like to talk to people. Here's how I can be valuable to someone today. Like, go into it with intentions. That's mainly what it is because when you start a business, that's what it is. You're providing value to someone, and it's not always cookie cutter. This is the value I'm going to provide. It's the little things that maybe only you do that you can add value in, but you're missing out on that income stream or that opportunity because you're not tapping into that specific value that you can add. So, you know, that's pretty much where the question was going, was just like, what types of value are you adding?
Oh yeah, you know, it's everybody needs different things. You know, some things are going to stand out to people more than others, like a foot rub every now and then, or cooking food, you know, making a meal for somebody, you know, picking up somebody kid from school, you know, when they could have maybe, but they didn't, or whatever happened. I don't know the situations.
Look,
There's
man.
all kinds of things you can do. People, everybody needs something different,
Hey,
but it's
bro.
up to me to decide if I do all that.
Look, this is just for our viewers out there. I really want y'all to think about what value you add and why that's valuable. Look at your skill set, look at what you're good at, and look at the value that you're actually adding, and ask yourself, how can I increase this? How can I make this better? But we do have a topic today that I want to jump into.
Before we go to the topic, I just want to put a disclaimer in for people. You know, it's good to add value, but don't be taken advantage of, and don't add value and not get nothing back. You know, don't be at Chipotle giving them all these ideas about how they can increase their money like this and save money like that, and then turn around and you ain't seen a pay raise in 2 years. Like, come on now. And yet they ain't presented you with no managerial opportunities, or even like $1.50 on your paycheck on top, or even an opportunity at overtime. You know, you gotta give a little maybe, but don't let them just take everything you got, and don't just give them the whole bag is what I'm saying. You know, you got to be careful who you add value to, because some people will take advantage of you. They'll let you keep adding value to them, and until you either say something, or even if you do, they'll just, you know, if they're in a position where they can take advantage of you, they very may will. They might. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think it's important to watch where you place your value. But I think that it's also important, like if you've chosen to work at a place like Chipotle or whatever, be the best worker you can be. You know, like do the best you can do, add that value or whatever. Not saying, like, I don't know what situation you would be in where you're like, I don't know, like balancing their books or whatever. I don't know, like if you would have that high of a position, but I definitely think that, you know, for instance, like when I was a janitor or whatever, I wasn't just like, oh, they're only paying me this much, so this toilet's not going to get cleaned.
No,
you know, or
they're
these
paying
floors
you that
aren't gonna...
much to do the job that they said you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Do what you were assigned to do. I'm not saying don't do what you walked in there. Like if they presented you with $12 an hour and you agreed, and they told you you need to do this, this, and this,
Yes.
and you agreed to that number at the time, then okay, you exchange at that point. But to go above and beyond what they've asked you to do, that's where I'm saying practice discretion, you know, and be careful how much you give.
But that's a dangerous mindset, because if you're used to working like a 9-to-5 job, and you're used to only giving half of your effort, when you try to transition into being like an entrepreneur, self-employed, and you're not getting paid at first, that same mindset is likely to carry over, where it's like, they're not paying me, this client isn't paying me yet, so I'm not going to go above and beyond for them. But what people don't realize with like owning your own business is there's probably going to be a point where you're not getting paid for stuff, but the amount of work that you're putting in and the value you're bringing, you never know where that will lead you. You never know what that value will lead you if you're working at Chipotle and you're coming in giving it 100% all the time. even if you're not getting a raise, you're still building up those skills so that if you ever go to a different position, you know, or a different job that maybe they are paying more and you're already used to performing at a high level, there's not a big transition phase. If you go into, you know, your own self-employment situation, being a real estate agent, like Shalisha was saying, like she gives her all right now, and, you know, going into real estate is going to be a lot easier for her than it would be somebody that shows up every day. They're late because they're only getting minimum wage. They ain't doing this. They ain't doing that. They're like, I'm not smiling at nobody. They're not paying me for that. Those are the things that I'm talking about when you're adding value, because, you know, like those are for you as well. Like those carry over.
I mean, yeah, I would say if you want to practice, maybe attempt to practice in situations where, you know, you're not doing it for someone else, you're doing it for yourself. Take, for example, like going to school. A lot of people, you know, that's an opportunity for you to practice performing at a high level, you know, going into the classroom and always putting your best foot forward with every assignment, every quiz, and every exam that you take, and studying to the highest level that you can. That's a great way to practice performing at a higher level before you go join the workforce, you know, while you're in high school or after you graduate. And, you know, if you end up doing the entrepreneur thing, you know, I think it's a different mentality when you know this is for you and it's 100% on you and everything you put in comes out back to you versus working for someone else.
What do you think, Shalisha?
I agree with you. Even still working for someone else, though, you still got to put your all into it. That's how you get recognized. That's how you get promoted. But don't look at it as you're doing it for them, but more so you. That's why I feel like I already put in my 120%. So I already add value. I'm just saying. But I just look at it as it's reflecting me more so than it is them. And when you're reflecting me, everything has to be in order and 120%. So like even with the property, like they had two people there who have been in this business longer than me, and they tore people with those property. Horrible. Like not even a general clean, and they'd just be bringing people in there talking about oh, you want to rent? No, they don't want to rent. And we have like on-staff cleaning, but the on-staff cleaning couldn't get there by the time I got there to where I needed these units to be clean in order to do tours. Right. So I told them I'm not touring nobody until these units get clean. They thought I was playing, but that's also my commission depending on how much I rent. And because it was already a challenged property, my commission was already going to be less than what it normally is at my other properties. So I went in there and I cleaned the units. Scheduled my tours. The cleaning lady got there. I was like, oh, I don't need you no more. What am I supposed to do? I don't know what you're supposed to do. I did your job and my job, and I got a rental. So you can pretty much do whatever it is you want to do. But when they're like, oh, how'd these units get like this? It wasn't the cleaning lady. It was Shalisha.
I see you. I recognize what you're talking about.
Yeah, because when you're touring, you're not representing. I wasn't representing. I was also representing the property management, but they're not seeing the property management. But it's not the property management touring. It's me.
But what I'm saying, like, I agree with you. Do your job, and especially when it's commission based like that. Like if you're relying on this other person and they're not coming in where they need to be at those times, and now they're jeopardizing your income. So that's a little different. I'm talking about giving like money making types of information. Like, oh, if you do this way, you can save X amount of dollars. If you do this way, you can generate this much revenue at half the cost you trying to generate revenue now. I don't know. I'm talking about things like that where you really you double and triple in somebody's bag, but you're not really going to see any of that.
And I think at that point, you just need to be in business for yourself.
Yes.
Like if you're not going to take that and do something with it, then, you know, it has no value anyways, you know. But I'll give you guys and our listeners a story that I heard, and let me know what you think about it.
Wait, before you give the story, I just want to say one thing. Like I just want to say another example is like, say you work as a waitress at a restaurant and you go above and beyond with somebody, you know, waiting their table.
Right.
And at the end of it all, you don't get no tip. because some people in this world just don't think they should be tipping, so I'm just throwing that out there. Like, you could do.
Well, yeah, but even still, you still got to clean that table.
Oh yeah, do your job, be the best waitress you can be, but don't go above and beyond because with the expectation, like I give you something like that, given like that expectation, like, oh, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, because they might not always scratch your back.
Understandable.
Okay, so the
I'll
story,
take a rub.
What was that?
I said I'll take a rub.
Yeah, the story that I'm trying to tell is, one time there was like a construction person, right? He worked in construction, and his boss came to him and he said, we have this big name client. He's done a lot of business with us, and he needs this house built in like 2 weeks. And here's the budget and everything. It was a good budget, enough to build the house, but we're not really going to get paid for this. We're kind of just doing him an IOU because he's done so much business with us. So the construction person is like, wow, like I'm doing all this work and I'm not going to get paid for it. So he's doing the work, he's ordering the materials. He gets the property built and all that. He hires everybody. They come in, and then the house is finished, and the boss comes to him and he said, congratulations, you got it done. And he was like, congratulations on your new house. And he was like, what do you mean my new house? He's like, yeah, we were trying to surprise you. This is your new house. Like, the company paid for your house. And he's like, well, if this was my house, I would have put this floor in, and I would have done it this way, and I would have made it like this and like that. And he's like, oh, so in other words, you would have done a better job because it was for you and not for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But that story is like a metaphor of sometimes when we think we're doing something for someone else, it's actually for us, but we don't see the value in it. So we're doing it to a lesser degree, and we may lose out on those opportunities because you don't know. Like, you could be working your hardest, and someone comes in and sees that, and they're like, hey, I want you to work for me, or I want to give you this opportunity. I see how hard you're working. When I used to sell the Sunday newspaper, in Vegas, and it'd be like 100 and something degrees, there'd be people that went and bought me McDonald's. I got $100 jacket for Christmas. People would give me like $25 when they didn't have to. People would like buy me food from the Food for Less or whatever, the store that was over there. They would give me $3 when the paper was only $2.50. They would ask if I needed anything. Like, I had like 4 or 5 people ask what I wanted for Christmas, and they went and got me stuff. Wow. One dude even sat in the car. One dude held the papers for me and was selling them while I sat in the car and ate my food that he just got me.
Wow.
Because they saw me out there doing that, right? And when people see you doing great things, it attracts great energy, and you don't know what you're going to get from it. But if you get in the habit of only doing subpar because you're just waiting for somebody to be worth your value, then you're going to unintentionally get in the habit of always providing that, and it's going to be even harder to break out of that. So that's my input, but let's get into the topic for today, man. So Ty brought this topic up. I always like to give credit where credit's due. Ty brought this topic up, and he pretty much posed the question of, why don't we go where we're celebrated? Why do we stay around people that don't necessarily have the type of energy and stuff that we're looking for, and that don't celebrate us? Maybe you could kick it off and tell us a little more about where you're coming from with that question, and we'll see if we could do it any justice.
So there's I don't know if it's really a quote or not, but there's this thing that says, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. So I posed a question in our group chat, and I said we could dive deeper into, family, friends, stuff like that. And I gave an example. We could talk about not wasting time on people who don't get you, who can't celebrate you, who don't understand, and releasing the ones who receive you with a lukewarm heart, the ones who cannot mirror the fullness of life back. And Fitz he challenged that, and I'll let you dive into that part of the challenge. But basically we're gonna touch on that of, do we need to go where we're celebrated? And Fitz was like, well, why can't you celebrate yourself? Why do you need to get it for somebody else? So
Yeah.
I'll let him say his challenge.
We playing ping pong. We go back. Okay. So what I meant by why can't we celebrate ourselves? I kind of was just posing that question in the moment, but the deeper thought that I had was, we live in such a time where if you are different, or like if you have a unpopular feeling, then you actually don't matter. You know, like, so I see a lot of people going where they're celebrated, and sometimes the celebration is for some nonsense. You know, like, just because there's a celebration doesn't mean that it's actually good for me. You know, like, if you're celebrating me for getting a college degree, and that's, you're celebrating, hey, that's not really what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your celebration. So I think a lot of times when we're getting celebrated, we don't actually know why people are celebrating and what the celebration is for and what it actually means. You know, like, somebody will say that they're happy that you got this amount of money or whatever, but they're just with you so that they can get a piece of it. You get what I'm saying? So, and I did some research on it, and one of the questions that I want to pose to you guys is, what if the people are only celebrating you because you're on their level?
That's nasty.
Yeah. whoever want to open that up.
Hey, bro.
What's next?
What if people around you are only celebrating you because you're on their level?
Oh, okay. Oh.
Mm, I
Right?
believe in celebrating yourself.
Birds of a feather stick together. All right.
We got to go deeper with these answers.
What, cuz?
We got to go deep.
Stick together.
Oh, shit, bro.
We got to
I
go
mean,
deep.
I don't feel like you should look for praise from other people, because then you become dependent on those praises. And what if you stop getting them? Are you going to stop doing the good things or whatever it is that you're doing? I feel like you need to be the one praising yourself. There's more, I don't know, what's the word? I guess feeling, or I don't know. I can't think of the word right now. But I just feel like it comes better when it comes from you, because it's more genuine, I guess you could say.
And I don't even mean celebrate like there's a big event. It could just be like,
well, yeah, just like
people
praising
message
yourself for doing good, or
well, not even praising, just, you know, like, people want to hang around you. You have friends, like, for instance, like, you're coming to Texas, and I'm sure if me and Tatiana were not positive and trying to do certain things, you wouldn't want to come. You know, like, you wouldn't want to come stay with us and stuff like that if you were dealing with somebody that was negative, or they didn't really have any aspirations in life. There was just a bunch of chaos going on in the house and stuff like that. I'm sure there would be a different thought, right?
mm-hmm.
So not necessarily saying like there's a celebration, but just people that think similar to you. Like, why do we want to gravitate towards those people?
Well,
And,
like Tati said, birds of a feather flock together. Then it can help you grow and fuel into the path that you're looking to reach.
but what if the people that you gravitate towards, you're only gravitating towards them because you're on their level? What does that mean for your growth?
That you're trying to get what somebody else has instead of getting your own. So you're not really growing that much.
What did you think, Ty?
The feathers of a bird fly. Oh, Tatiana, boy, that was a good one. Oh, on your level. Repeat the question again, because that's a stumper.
So what if the people in your life or whatever are only celebrating you because you're still on their level? You know, like the saying, misery loves company. You know, like, if you're doing better than someone, that can be a hard pill to swallow, especially if they come from where you come from. But if you're doing the same as them, then you feel a little better, like, okay, I'm good because everyone is at this level. But when somebody breaks off of that level, it can be like, how can we get them back here so we don't have to look at the fact that we're not doing what we need to be doing. So that's the celebration comes in at is like, are they only celebrating you because you're still on their level?
That's tough.
Yeah.
I probably say yeah. I think when I moved from, so living in Florida, a lot of people, you know, the routine is you go to jail, you're in the streets, you die. So a lot of my partners was, you know, running around doing all that. And when I moved, it was kind of like, it's like almost being reborn again, because lost touch with all my friends, people I went to high school with, middle school, all that. Like we just drifted away, because I started to go this way, and then they were still stuck in the same place. Even 10 years later, they still doing the same thing they was doing when they was in middle school and high school. So, you know, everybody was cool with everybody's celebration and all those things. But then when I moved, it was different, and it happened in Ohio too. When I moved to Ohio, played football, you know, was the man in high school, all those things. When I went and got a full ride scholarship, went to college, everybody looked at me a different way. So I definitely think people only celebrate you when you're at that level. Um, but when you jump out the bubble, it's like Ty 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 ain't ish. He ain't what he say he is, or you know, some stuff like that. So most definitely.
All right. What do you think, Tati? I think you kind of said what was it? Birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, you know.
Oh,
Man, you know.
Tatiana just like
Well, so I mean, I think we did that one justice, but I did want to dive deeper into this idea of, you know, not just celebration, but what it actually means to succeed. Because I think that's the deeper conversation that a lot of people don't actually have, like, because there's a phase, right? There's a phase where nobody believes in you really, but they're not saying it. But you can tell, like, they're not on board. Like every time you try to talk about this, you kind of get the cold shoulder, or it's just like, yeah, whatever. You know, there's that phase. Then there's the phase of, uh-oh, something's happening over there, you know, something's happening. Let me try to get in on this. And then there's the, okay, they've clearly, this is something, right? And so the people that were celebrating you or that were surrounding you when you were down here and you wanted to go up here with them, what does that actually mean for you and your progress? Like, how do you fit those people into your inner circle or your life? Do you fit them in? What is it? Because when you say celebrate, I'm thinking, you know, like, if I'm reaching this level, the people that are at this level or higher, they're not really celebrating because they know that there's so much more that you can achieve. It's not a celebration. It's more of, okay, what do you want to do and how can we get there? Like, the celebration is the plan. The celebration is the, hey, you're doing great. You know, where do you want to go? Like, there's always a conversation about more, but what I feel like the people that are lower than you, you know, not just life or whatever, but the people that are lower than you are always talking about what you've done up to this point. And the people that really want to see you win, they want to talk about how much further you can go. So where do we focus our energy at? Like, do we focus on people that celebrate us, or do we focus on people that try to guide us?
the people that try to guide us.
What do you mean? Why should we focus on them?
Oh, because I feel like if you're trying to get to that next level, then you need to be around people who are either there or past that level. You can't try to get to the next level and still be, you know, settling or hanging around people who aren't or don't have common interests as you, because it can hold you back. They can become a distraction.
Yeah. Have you experienced this in your own life?
Yeah, I mean, throughout my whole little 25 years of living, had to let some people go.
Give the people an example. They want to feel relatable. They want to relate to Shalisha.
That was, I mean,
You stumped her. Let her think about it.
you did. You
I'll
stopped.
let her think of, but the reason I say that is because we're talking about guiding people, and someone may be watching this podcast like, I listened to a previous episode with Shalisha, and she was saying this, and this. I like it. I want her to go a little deeper because she said some fire stuff, and I want to get to know her a little more because maybe I can follow and let her guide me in this particular, area. So, people tune in, I feel like, for a little bit of guidance. Some people tune in and will never know because maybe they don't want us to know that they get some guidance from us. But that's why, like, this podcast is a learning experience for all of us. And so I feel like we do have a responsibility to go deeper because everybody that they're talking to in their real life, like not on camera and stuff, they're only going surface level. There are people that they got to pay to go deeper. We're giving this out for free, so yeah. I feel like we have a responsibility to go deeper. So when I ask those questions, I'm not trying to like put anybody on the spot or anything like that. I'm just like, hey, there's somebody out there that may have thought that. They may have been like, well, give us an example, Shalisha. Let us, like, what did you go through? What was your experience with that? I just felt I had to clarify.
I'll go why Shalisha thinks about her example. I think you gotta have a balance. I think you gotta have a balance of both. You gotta have a balance of both. Like people who support you, but also people who guide you. Because for me, I play my position in certain people's lives, especially like some of my partners that make music and stuff. I support him no matter what. I don't really guide him because I like music, but he's deeper into music than I am. It's not really a career I'm choosing to go down, but I am invested into it enough where I can give feedback. But ultimately, he's going to go with people who do music to guide him. But I support him 100%. As far as like for me, I don't really try to fit people into my inner circle. If those people are meant to be a part of the journey, they're going to fit in where they fit in. The only person that fits in 100% all the time is my mom's, no matter what. She may not always agree, may not always think it's the best idea, but she going to support it and ride it out. And then if she got any feedback, she going to give it to me. And then my mentor, she the same way. She's more of the guiding spirit rather than she supports it, but she's more of the guidance. Like, hey, try this real quick and see how it goes. Because she already knows how the end result is going to be. So definitely, I think you definitely have to have a balance for sure.
Yeah, and I think that something you said is important is like your mentor, they guide you. And I just think a lot of people, they don't have that mentor. So they gravitate more towards the celebration, like they just want to be at a party and they don't even know whose party it is. They don't know what the celebration is about. They just want to be at a party. And then there's another group of people where they want to be the party. And I think that's what I'm getting at is like, I would rather be the party than to be the discussion of the party or to be like, like if it's my party, I want to control like, okay, this is why we're partying. There's an understanding behind it. Like this party is not, oh, we're just sitting here getting faded and stuff. This party is like, we're focusing on the future. We're creating, we're looking at things in a way that's going to take us to the next level. That's my kind of party. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard that, like you get invited to a party and it's like, who's going to be there, what's going to be, okay, that's not really my kind of party. That's how I feel like with success. It's like, I don't want to be celebrated and stuff like that. That's not my kind of party. My kind of party is like, how can we grow? And maybe to give an example of, like, should we focus on people that are celebrating us versus guiding us? I do think that there needs to be a balance. I just think a lot of people, you have to be careful because a lot of people, I don't feel like they're used to having a certain level of success and denying people access. You know, like I feel like if you knock on a door so long and people see you knocking on the door, they assume that you're knocking on the door for the same reason they are. Like some people are knocking on that door to beg, right? Let me get something. Let me get something. I'm knocking on the door. Just give me something. Some people are knocking on the door to say, I don't want you to give me anything, but how did you get on the other side of this door? Because that's where I'm trying to be. How did you get on the other side of this door? And I'm the person, how did you get on this side, the other side of this door? That's what I'm trying to do. I don't need any free food. I don't need anything like that. Just guide me to the other side of this door. But you never know why someone is celebrating you, and you never know why someone is at that door that you're at. So just be careful who you invite in to celebrate you, because they'll think that because they were at the celebration, they should reap the benefits.
Yeah, and you gotta make sure the people that celebrate you, they doing something as well. You know, like for my moms, I play both sides. I play the support, like the support system, but also the guidance as well. We celebrate her achievements, her small wins. Whether that's at work, personally, reflection, all those things. But we both have something to celebrate. So make sure the people that are celebrating you, they already got something. So they not feeding off of what you got. Cause then later on in life, they're gonna feel like they contributed to everything that you have achieved, and they feel like, without them, you wouldn't have made it. When that's not even the case.
Mm. No, I agree. I agree with that. What uh we're running short on time. I know we're trying to keep these down so that people could watch them. Um, just to kind of close everything out and summarize, like make sure that you are watching who you surround yourself with. Make sure that if people are celebrating and praising you, they understand that this is your success and that they don't get a piece of it just because they watched you bake the pie. That's your pie. You get to choose who gets a piece. You get to choose if anyone gets a piece. You baked it. Don't let people who came in and said it smelled good make you believe that now you owe them something. And that's what this is really about. And that's what I was getting at when I kind of challenged Ty, is like, okay, people are celebrating you, but why are they celebrating you? And is that even a good reason? And like sometimes you have to rise above the celebrations and stay focused. And if we could just give a few practical pieces of advice, I'll get it started. I guess I just did it, but I wasn't thinking that it was practical. But yeah, just stay focused and really, really watch who's in your inner circle. Watch what people are saying, how they're reacting, and focus on people that want to build with you instead of watch you build and then coming at the last second with like the hammer, like, look, I helped. No, you
Mhm.
didn't. All right, we'll kick it off to Shalisha. What do you got to say, Shalisha?
I would say put your all into everything 120%. Even if you feel like you're not getting a return, presentation is key. How people value you, and sometimes what they see when looking at you does matter, especially if we're talking about a business aspect of it, because there you can make different connections to help grow you personally in your entrepreneurship. So just put your all into whatever it is that you do.
We want to take it next, Ty or Tati?
Tatiana,
T.
she got the free game.
She not giving us it all because we're not getting paid yet. So we start getting paid, she gonna come with a new level.
Yeah.
To all our viewers, my advice, my closing remarks to you all is to forget about everyone else and do what you feel you should do, because at the end of the day, that's who you die with. That's your last thoughts. They all gonna come from you. It's that's what you're living with. you know Working on a brand out here, one life, no redos, no regrets. That's your life, that's not theirs. Don't let no one else control you, dictate how you do things. It's you. At the end of the day, you live with your decisions. All those people are going to do is turn around And the moment you start doing what they want you to do and you start to say something about it, it's like, well, you didn't have to do it, but they're the one over here begging and pleading for you to do it. You know, it's a bunch of two-faced, selfish, self-centered, don't care about you one bit people out here, and you need to take care of yourself.
All right, let's jump over to Ty. Maybe end with a bang, a little positive.
I was positive.
Bet you want to shoot me in the gym? Nah, I'm just playing. Like everything is subjective. Figure out what everything means to you. Stop trying to chase what everybody's doing. If you want to do something similar to somebody else, just make sure it's for the right reasons and you figure out what you're gonna gain from it. Don't try to follow somebody else's journey. Create your own.
All
Bet
right.
you want to shoot me in the gym, boy.
Hey, do it up. All right, make sure you go like the video, comment, subscribe, check out the other videos. We're on Apple, Spotify, all that great stuff. Check out
All that.
mindset.com. If you're looking for any coaching, just let me know. Check out the Instagram at Fitz Mindset. And we'll be back next week. That's from the bottom.
From the bottom, you're
Support.